I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service. Good morning, Vietnam. We're back in this bitch. I got closer to the mic to talk. I have not been here for a week, so I'm just going to start off by saying that. Timbo.
You okay?
I was so stoked to come into work this morning. It's been great working from home, getting ahead on product writing. We are officially very ahead on product writing, but it was very mind-numbing and very just exhausting.
Mm-hmm. So you had fun.
Had fun, had a good time.
Yeah.
I sat on the couch and worked from the couch because it seemed to be like the coolest part of the house. I had some airflow from the window, and I would have Lost on. Lost a couple days in the background. One day, The Office. One day, My Name is Earl. You know how it goes.
I love you telling us about this as if no one could have guessed the exact things you were doing.
The thing is, if you listen to this if you've listened to 10 episodes of this podcast, you know damn well that I had Lost on while I was doing product writing. So,
do you ever think about, like, I think sometimes, like, what did we talk about? I can go actually just from the last episode and beyond, to be honest with you. But let's say the first 50, I don't know what we were talking about. Couldn't tell you.
First 50 podcasts?
Yeah.
No, but dude, I don't know. We're at 200 now. 208. We're in the 200s. I couldn't tell you what we talked about on 115 though.
I'm saying, like, what were some of our classic bits?
Dude, it's me saying funny things.
Funny
as in dumb, and then you.
Yeah. We did hot takes. I remember those.
Yeah, we would do hot takes.
It just sort of. The problem is we're, like, on the same page with the crazy thinking most of the time.
Certainly, as we've aged, Timothy, we are closer and closer to one. You know what I mean?
Well, I just know all your stuff, and I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise at this point.
No,
you know what I mean?
Even,
so we're just.
But even you can say this. You can admit this, that early podcasts.
I'm not. What's funny, and you know me, you should know me well enough that as soon as you said that, I'm like, whatever it is, I'm going to double down on not agreeing.
You've said, I've never noticed a tree in my life. Yep. And I think that is not as true now as it would have been 2 years ago. 2 years ago, you meant it. You wholly had never thought about or noticed a tree.
Wasn't lying about that.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? I just didn't care or notice. You know what I mean?
There's just little intricacies that we've melded closer to being one with. But other than that...
Look, I think that I've got more, like... Here's the thing. I can point to my, like... I could listen to those episodes and go, I can tell you all the things that I'm doing wrong. And I could watch this episode today and go, oh, look at all these dumb things he said and did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think that, I think that it is really difficult when you do this, like, to go, oh yeah, you're gonna, like, grow and change as a person. Like when people give us, like, like little comment or whatever, it's like, good. Now I have that information and I'll improve upon it if that's what you want so bad. You know what I mean? But it's like you just gotta, like, you start putting yourself out there in any single way. And like we've said, I'm happy to do this, but this is my nightmare. I don't need you guys all knowing all the weird shit I do. You know what I mean? I say that
all the time. I'm like, dude, I try to live as if I don't exist. You know what I mean? Like people...
We both would like to be ghosts. We've said this. Yeah.
I want to be neither seen nor heard. It's like this is kind of a separate thought, but when we get lunch, you and I both separately will go find a corner to shovel it into our mouth as quickly as you can, not be bothered.
I don't need to socialize.
So anyway,
and I don't eat lunch at work.
But it is tough. It is tough as it goes on to be like, we say strong opinions loosely held, and I stand by that in so many aspects of my life, certainly within the podcast. But yeah, I would reckon anything that I said 175 episodes ago was silly and stupid.
Well, here's the thing about hot takes. The point of them is so that it starts an argument so that you
can
can
rile people up, or get you going,
Yeah. But like the problem is, like, I've heard all of them at this point, and I've probably heard them like a few times. So like I'm not sure what you're going to wing at me that's going to blow my mind, I know that we'd rile up the audience. I mean, that's not a problem. I can think of hot takes off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think any Alex G record is better than any Beatles album.
I completely agree.
Well, I know you agree. I've at least heard all the Beatles albums.
Yeah.
But I still stand by it.
Do we have to?
You can rev it up.
Is Alex G tomorrow?
Can you check on that quote, I think please? That's July something.
Oh,
I think it might be end of July.
I thought it was end of June.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. I'm really looking forward to that though. So that's been a real treat.
Mm-hmm. But all I'm saying is like we could still do that. I just don't see like the, you know what I mean? Like
I think that we accomplish the same goal by just having our conversations.
we're saying things regularly that rile people up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's about it. But yeah, we're back in it. Came in early this morning, slightly early. Timothy, we had a meeting with Harold. And I'd just like to let everybody know that what we have coming for fall is absolutely stellar. And what we have coming for spring when we write the order is going to be next level.
They're a brand that like just continually keeps getting better. I mean, just like noticeably better and like improving in a way that doesn't, you know, if this is your thing as a brand, I think that can be really cool too. But they're not like, it's not like they're going, hey, this is a new season, blow everything that was there before is gone and everything is going to be new, pushing. It's like they just keep improving the pieces. Like the fabrics get better.
There are certainly new silhouettes and shit. And there's repeat silhouettes that they've updated, or instead of it being denim, it's now a cashmere denim, or it's a linen blend kind of situation, or, you know.
Even if you had one piece and you wanted to buy it again, they change it. It's like constantly improving upon itself in ways. And so that brand just keeps getting better. I am really stoked to be working with them. They're number one. They're cool people.
I was just gonna say, do you also feel that they're kind of like our buddies?
I think we both want to think that. I'm not sure if it's real or not.
I mean, because the way that I feel is this: we've had 3 or 4 digital meetings. We met with them in Tokyo. We broke bread, so to speak, which was really just drinking water in like a 95-degree
it
room.
was just here's what happened. I'll tell the story. I'll dox myself here on this one. We go to meet with them. We haven't talked about this, have we?
I'm sure we did, but it's fine. Just briefly. Just
what do you want? If we have to do this for an hour and a half every week, I'm going to have to repeat myself. It's only so many things that are happening. But we go to meet with them and it's mostly just like, you know, with like business, sometimes it's not about the buying. You go and you meet, you shake hands, you get to know the people, blah, blah. They don't really know us. We don't know them. A lot of the buying is done remotely for a lot of reasons. But ever since COVID, I mean, that's been the easier way to do it. And it saves money and travel and blah, blah, blah. And also Fashion Week is pointless. So all you cool people out there doing it, that's great. But none of them have money to buy those clothes because nobody that goes to those is buying anything. So
they're going to be seen and put it on the Instagram.
And that's great. That's great for them. Sure. That's cool. But whenever this time of year when you're like, headed to Paris, see all these people, and I'm like, what are you doing there? Just taking up space?
Spending the money, baby.
You know what I mean? It's just like documenting it. It's like, did we need 150 different angles on the Oralee show? No, because one guy stands at the end and takes great photos that we'll look at after. He's getting paid to be there. I didn't need a bunch of shaky iPhones of a New Balance that's already technically released. You know? It's crazy at this point.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're there to meet and greet. So we go to this neighborhood. And it's just like it's like the studio where he like works out of. So it's really just like an apartment. You know what I mean? I think or like a small.
It may have been like a small like I don't know that it was like a dwelling like to live in. There may have been other
just kept it as an office
and stuff.
To me, it's like a pretty empty room with some samples and a computer and some
like a beautiful coffee table and some nice chairs.
It's great. It was really cool.
It was really
cool. But it was obviously just like a workspace. You know.
Yeah.
And we go in, and first things first, I'm wearing fucking Chucks.
Wearing those, yeah.
And we get to the door, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, come on in, take your shoes off. And I'm like, fuck, I forgot about the shoes. You know what I mean? And it's already, first of all, we've already had a morning because it's so muggy. It's so muggy in Japan.
Abby had spilled the juice, and it was quite a disaster,
Yeah, Abby spilled a bunch of juice. It was a whole drama. You know that like sweating that you do that's beyond humidity when you're nervous? So I'm like nervous for her. I'm getting sweaty. Then we get up there. I got to take the shoes off. I forget it's the Chucks. Just take a...
the whole...
It's a little to-do. Yeah. And I got you behind me awkwardly because you haven't gone past the threshold to take your shoes off. So you're waiting on me. I'm getting stuck up on the shoes, you know what I mean? Because I'm nervous now. And it's so quiet in there, dude. There's no sound. There's no... And Japan, like Tokyo is very quiet for a big city.
Crazy,
so it's just quiet. I am sweating. I'm trying to get the shoes off, you know what I mean? I finally get out of them. I've got you bumping into me like a dog trying to get out the door at the same time. And so you're making me mad. I'm nervous in front of these people. I'm just meeting them. I'm sweating so bad. I'm like, and it's one of those things where you're like, I'm never going to get this sweating under control because it's not about heat. It's about everything,
And then
an accumulation of life.
When you're that sweaty and that nervous, it perpetuates, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Because you're like, fuck, I'm so sweaty.
Yeah.
They're gonna notice I'm sweaty, so you're nervous about that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God. And it was just sitting there. And they've got the little waters. I'm going through like 20 of them. Just boom, boom. I'm trying to cool if I cool my internal temperature down. And also like, because it's just a meet and greet thing, and the one lady that's there is translating for the designer, you're kind of like, you're not sure if we're not sure what's polite at this point. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of just
we're
sitting
also,
and talking.
Americans.
They're like, "Do you want some tea?" I'm like, "If you put hot liquid in front of me, I'm gonna freak out." and then so we're trying to converse. We're trying to like, I don't know, do bits because we're just trying to like make it entertaining, which I'm not sure is what you're supposed to do in Japanese culture.
We don't know really what to do, so we're just trying to fill the dead air.
So we're talking too much for sure. I can tell when she's translating. She's not translating all of it because she knows it's not all important.
Like, this isn't relevant.
Yeah. So it was. It ended up once things leveled out.
Then
It was fine. It was great.
But that's all to say that we do like to think that they are our buddies and our friends.
Yeah.
So when we see,
but after that
have these
display, who
meetings,
knows? You know, I'm not feeling confident. I guess is the problem.
You're like, stop. Let me get these shoes on.
Yeah, I like looked back once, like, stop bumping into me. I can't do it if you're bumping into me.
Yeah. So I was very, very happy to get back in here. It's crazy that it's Wednesday and it's not Monday. But came in, had a meeting. I missed the staff dearly. I'm really excited to be back with everybody. It's really fun. So that was fun though, to have a little work from home streak. Got on top of shit, and now we're back in it. So it's been a real pleasure.
Yeah. We're in sort of buying week right now too. So the next 2 weeks really, and then some after. But for the next 2 weeks, it's kind of like a compact. We've got
a lot of resources. We got this, and then we have a video we're going to do. But then I'm assuming we're going to spend more or less the remainder of the week kind of in and out of buying and talking and doing shit with that. You and I and Bob for a lot of it. So it's been a real treat. What do we got going on? Anything fun happened over the weekend? What'd you get into? Actually, this morning you already dropped Abby and G off. They're heading back to the old Midwest.
They're going back to the Midwest to see people and hang out and kind of celebrate Gia's birthday early because she won't be there during her actual birthday, and visit with family and stuff. So They're doing that. So drop them off. What's going on? I mean, nothing. Last week we did like a billion errands because they were kind of getting
prepping
ready
for them leaving and shit. Yeah.
Yep. So we did that.
What? Let me ask you, what's on the menu for fun Timbo dinner? Because
you're not gonna like it.
The thing is, I might not like what you're going to eat, but I like it for you because it's similar to how I go about it.
I think that what you want is it to be like, I'm getting chicken wings and whatever the hell else guys eat. But it's not that. It's just here's what I spotted that I told Abby. I said, Abby, I got like an idea for what I'm going to eat when I'm going to be gone. And she's like, okay. And I saw that, how like I like to go to Whole Foods because I think the best deal, we'll say in like fast food. It's not really fast food, you understand, but like,
are you saying the county, the deli counter?
You get the deli. You go to the deli counter and get the plate.
Yeah, hell
you get chicken, broccoli or green, whatever green you want, and like some potatoes or whatever the hell they've got. It's $12.
Yeah.
Everything feels pretty fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing in that stuff, And if I like go and buy a thing of chickens and then cut them up and bread them, can I make like 4 more for the same price? Maybe, but
you want your house to smell like all that? You got to get your hands all fucking dirty.
Look, I don't mind doing it sometimes, and sometimes you prep it all up.
Sometimes it's fun if that's what you're doing. Yeah.
So I'm just saying for fast food, like the fact that I can go up there, it's all done. If you go at the end of the day, they give you a little extra.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Real quick, have you developed rapport with these fellas?
Yeah. Well, one guy doing too many bits. I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
So I'll wait. I'll linger by the salad bar if he's messing around, and I'll see if I can get the regular one.
Hell yeah.
But still, you get like they'll give you 2 pieces of chicken. That's a lot.
It's a lot of food, dude.
And then so in my mind, $12 for the Whole Foods plate. You got to go up and ask. They don't put a sign up about it or anything.
Yeah.
You got to go back there and kind of awkwardly ask.
It's like a thing. If you know, you know. Yeah.
You got to do the.
Can I get a little to go?
Yeah. So you get they have that. But what I found out the other day when I was walking, when I was lingering to see if the one guy in the Hawaiian shirt would keep it moving.
Wait, you have curly hair? kind of like a disheveled college-looking kid.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. You know the guy?
I don't know him in a positive or negative way. Just last time I got the marinated wings, he loaded up for me.
Yeah, he'll hook it up too. He's fine. It's just you have to like sit through his like him working out his improv 101 on you. You know what I mean? So
sick.
Anyway, I noticed near that counter that they've got like if you're a family and buying that same thing that I'm getting, that they preset it up. It's in like a bigger box. It's for like a family.
Like an aluminum tin?
Yeah, and it's $24, but you get like 5 or 6 pieces of chicken, a bunch of mashed potatoes or whatever the fuck potatoes they put in there, and some green beans. I'm going to get 2 of those and I'm not and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's like you eat it and also it's like I'm full but I don't feel gross.
Yeah.
I can go do something after dinner.
Well,
it's fine.
You'll
I don't
get
have
chicken,
to think.
mashed potatoes, and broccoli, you think?
I'll eat the same thing all week. Baby.
Yeah.
I don't care. Mm-hmm. That's, you know my proclivities.
No, I'm with you. And while, because, Michelle does travel and shit as well. So when I'm a bachelor in the house, so to speak, I do think there's times where I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And what I end up doing is splurging on Indian food once, and then from that
you DoorDash that over to yourself, and it's somehow you're like, all right, I'll add like a chicken masala, whatever the hell, and you're like, it's like maybe a little bit extra for myself or something, a little leftover, but it's nothing unreasonable, and you're like $78.
That's the thing.
How did we get here?
So you can do it one time, and then that's about it. And then what I do is something really similar, or like I'll make a pot of rice and fucking a can of tuna or something, like really just simple
rice and eggs.
I'll do rice and eggs that's because it's as simple as can be, you know what I mean? So I'm with you. Sometimes it's just easier just to get the food and eat
I don't need to be bothered with that.
Yeah.
I'll do my art and I'll go like do exercise stuff a lot.
Yeah, beautiful.
Long walks at night because normally you got to do all the kids stuff, you got to get dinner ready, you got to do bath. Now I don't have to. I'll eat when I feel like eating. I don't need to do a whole production because it's a kid's schedule.
I will say, Michelle and I, we don't have children. So if one of us are like, hey, she's going to watch Love Island and I'm going to play some Counter-Strike, or we need to do some yard work or whatever, it's not a big deal if we don't start cooking dinner until 9. Mm-hmm. Like we do that and it's fun, Mm-hmm. It probably is tough to have to.
You're living a 15-year-old's dream.
Yeah, dude.
I'll eat what I want.
Whenever
and I'll play the video game.
Yeah. But if we have something else that we're interested in doing, so it's really sick to. So you're probably enjoying the no schedule, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, what I got to do is whenever they go, I deep clean the house because it's nice when you don't have people. Because we love Abby to death, obviously, but she's a bit of a yard sale when it comes to that kind of thing. She tidies up, but she also creates space for all of her stuff. And
I identify with this.
And and Gia is like, it's just stuff kind of happening behind her.
She's like a domino, or yeah.
So it's just it makes my life a little. I can get my things done.
Yeah.
So right away. So. I'll do that, and then then once everything's once that food is sort of set for the week, and it's cleaned up, then I can get to doing my zoning out and walking around.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Yeah, so that's really what I'll do. I enjoy the quiet. I don't like watch anything. I don't listen. I mean, I listen to music, but I don't do much. So it's nice.
No, like you have a bunch of shit going.
Yep. So that's really cool. It. That's what I'll do.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So kind of looking forward to it, but I'll also I'm not good alone. I don't think I've never really lived alone. You know what I mean?
Me either. I've always
it just
kind of
never happened.
Yeah.
And then I always thought like, oh, I would like that. And I think I'd have a meltdown pretty quickly, to be honest with you. I like
being
having
by yourself.
People around. I don't need them bugging me, but I like to go check
you like
around.
To have the,
I like there to be a schedule that kind of makes life move forward.
You never had an apartment just you?
I lived in like apartments where like whoever I was living with was like never there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had like an apartment with a girl and she had a boyfriend and she'd pop in now and then, but
sure.
But I wasn't there that often either. Yeah, I got you. So I don't know. Yeah. So things like that.
I mean, I've always had roommates myself all through college, and then out here, I'd go home to the house that we were just telling Cole about. Go downstairs, check in with Mike for about an hour. He'd have Rachel Maddow of MSNBC fame blaring on his 70-inch screen TV that had 2 inches of dust on it. I'd watch some MSNBC, and then I'd go up. I'd have one of my little 93-cent garlic cheese French bread pizzas from King Soopers. and then see if anybody
God,
had
dude.
leftovers in the house, and then that's how I lived my life,
I love French bread pizzas.
dude.
They taste like nothing. You know what I mean? But it's good.
Burn the shit out of your roof.
Oh my God.
Speaking of which,
That pizza sauce melts steel beams.
dude, it's so much hotter than you think it could possibly be, and
It doesn't
never
make
cools
sense.
down.
It's like a scientific anomaly.
Brenda, you're not a bratwurst guy. He's not a bratwurst guy. Cole, I know you're a bratwurst guy. If I know one thing about my boy over here, he likes bratwurst. Timbo is
You
not.
ain't
Like,
a bratwurst guy. You're a hot dog guy.
I like them both. I love them.
I'm just
both,
saying,
in
if
fact.
you have to label yourself a guy, you're a hot dog.
I'm a hot dog guy. I'm about to turn a corner though. We got these bratwurst. You know, Fat Tire from New Belgium. There's some company doing Fat Tire bratwurst.
What do you do? You're making them you're boiling them in beer or whatever?
No, I was talking to a buddy of ours, local, who's grew up in Wisconsin, from Wisconsin, and I was telling him about him, like, buddy, because he's a brat guy, he's a big brat guy, and I go, you got to try these, and then he goes, you beer brought them, and I was like, yeah, they're beer brats in that they're like Fat Tire branded, so they're made with beer in some regard. I don't know. I didn't realize that that's the true Midwestern way. And what I tried to explain to him is like, you got to understand, man. Ohio, while it is certainly labeled the Midwest, and a lot of the customs and the way people live life would be Midwest-esque, the problem is Wisconsin is backwoods Midwest. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking Venn diagram, the center of backwoods Midwest and Ohio, and whatever Ohio would be somewhere like Indiana is like a true melding, because like I grew up on the border of PA. You know what I mean? To me, that feels more Eastern. Point being, in Wisconsin, you boil your brats in beer, and then you...
What was that? I don't understand the point you were just trying to make.
I realized that I was going... What I'm saying is, while I grew up in the Midwest, yes, I think Wisconsin is more Midwestern than I think Ohio is by a lot. So he goes, oh, you're not a real Midwesterner. And I was like, no, I just didn't realize this was a thing. So you boil them in the beer and then you finish them on the grill. Have you done this?
Yeah.
I've never done that. Cole, have you
My
done
mom
this?
would get the Fosters in the big can, baby.
Oh, hell
Because
yeah.
I think it was cheap. And
High volume for the yeah. I remember thinking Foster's was tight when I first started drinking. I was like, this is cool.
I think it came out of that like that thing that happened in the early 2000s where like Australia was tight as hell. You know what I mean? Anything from there was sick. You
know, Australia is like more or less the size of the continental U.S., but like nothing happens
I've seen
for
a
almost
globe
all
before,
of it.
yeah.
I think of Australia as like a little tiny island nation, you know, half the size of Texas or something.
Haven't you ever listened to Case File? He's always talking about...
Oh, the empty area?
Yeah, by the way, Cole, I need you to get the Case File guy, the anonymous Case File guy on the pod. I want him in person too. He's got to show his face, or we'll blur it, which is also funny.
And just like saying it's
I can't
blurred,
do
but
you can see him
anymore.
like Orville Peck. Like you can clearly just see that I see who you are. It's not like what are you doing? You know?
Yeah. I don't do those stories anymore. Case Files, Sword and Scale, all that. It's just too much.
No, I don't watch
dark.
it. I don't listen to any video either. You know that, but
yeah.
But they're always talking about like there's like nothing anywhere, like those like long haul truckers and stuff that drive.
Yeah, there's
like,
nothing that happens.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, there's that show on Netflix. Shoot, is it Tourist? It takes place in Australia. Long story short, you know what I'm talking about, Cole?
Yeah,
it's like the handsome fella.
Yeah.
Takes place in like rural ass Australia, and there's a guy that drives trucks. And anyway, it looks rough out there outside of wherever people live.
Yeah,
people don't live elsewhere.
Hey, let me bring something up to you guys.
Hit me.
You guys know this, like, you know, the election or whatever that's going on in New York. You know, we don't like to talk about politics because we don't understand them at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his deal is or whatever, other than the people I know. This guy, hold on, his name's like
Mamdani?
Something?
Zohan.
Is that it?
Zohan.
Don't mess with Zohan, that Adam Sandler movie.
No, I want to make sure I'm getting it. It's Cuomo and it's the two.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it. I just know, you know, it's a mayoral election or whatever. We know all good.
In New York City. Sure.
But what I want to bring up, and maybe you could bring this up, is he stole the customer service logo.
Damn, he actually kind of did.
Show it to Chase.
Let me see, dude. Did he take my font? Because that's my font.
He look at this. I saw this the other day because people were like posting about it. And he seems like a good guy, or at least all the cool people on Instagram I follow.
I was going to say, all of the people that are in our...
I don't know if they were saying they didn't like him.
All the people in our world like him, so he's cool with me. Cool.
Whatever.
It's local politics in a city I don't live in.
Look at that.
See it?
Yeah, man.
Look at that.
You know what though?
See the one over there, the one where it's like the top left, where you can kind of see it, but in the corner of his head. That is it.
Yeah.
He took a logo.
Here's
a little
the
bit.
thing. What they're doing.
I know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
but we're more famous than he is.
We're way more famous than he is.
We're more famous than any New York mayor.
Yeah. Here's the thing. New York City.
Suck on that, De Blasio.
It's just a fine
Rudy
place.
Giuliani.
Yeah, I was gonna
Suck on
say
that,
Rudy.
Giuliani.
Juliana.
Wait, what? There was like that interview where he had something coming out of his ear. Remember?
No, it was
his like hair dye or whatever.
Yeah, it was
his
like
hair dye?
sweating too much.
Yeah.
He looked like a action figure he left out in the sun.
yeah. That's tight.
Yeah.
But so he took our logo.
So he took our logo.
Sounds to me like
Get him on the pod too,
sounds like
Cole,
that's
because
what
we
New York
want to
wants.
address that.
Yeah. See if he went on Throwing Fits.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, we don't want him on. I know.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
We don't want him on here.
We just want to, how they like call people in on the news? We just want to call him in for a minute so he can patch in on his weird laptop from some terrible angle.
Yeah.
Remember that on COVID? That was the best part of COVID, I think.
COVID? Just
When
people.
they would like interview important people, but they were like at home.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're like an idiot.
Yeah.
You have like a regular place you have to live too.
Yeah, when you have to handle your own electronics, you clearly can't. It was just like a lot of like, it was like if I turned on my camera from this angle and was driving and then talking to CNN. It's insane. And then they're like kids and dogs were in the
I
back.
was going to say all the bits of people's like cats like walking on in front of the camera and shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
man, early COVID was such a wild ass time. You think back on that and like it feels like we're still in it, but we're obviously not. That was years ago. But it also feels like it was 6 months ago. So
Well, things keep getting worse. I'm sure we're all going to be nostalgic for COVID soon.
first
Remember that cool time in America?
first confirmed case of measles was in DIA not long ago. So we'll see about that.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to keep our eyes out on that.
You'll have to tune back in next week and I'll report to you how we're looking with the measles.
He'll report
situation.
on news that came out 3 weeks ago today. That's your tagline? 3 weeks ago today with Chase Brown. I heard on Discord.
I heard, meaning I, at a cursory glance, read the link, the URL, and I discern what I can take from that, and then that is as far as it goes because I'm not reading the
I
article.
read part of a URL, and now I'm here to tell you about it.
Because every article you're going to click, and it's like, all right, pay here. It's like, I'm not going to do that. So either you give me the information needed in the URL, or that's it. And you'll have to tell me in real life what it is about. So
yeah, it really sucks that you can't just buy like a newspaper for like a nickel or whatever, and you have to like because the newspaper has not gotten better. It doesn't look better.
No.
It looks like shit. It's printed on bad paper. Who cares?
Just all ads
and
now.
then it's all ads. It's like to try to buy like a, Bulova watch or something.
Here, let's do this.
And it's like, I don't want any of that. You can throw all that shit out, make it a nickel, and then I might read it. I'm not going to go on a website. That's insane. We're not using websites anymore. You know what I mean? Websites are done, except for Shop Canoe Club. That one stays. All
you can go to
other websites
www.shopcanoeclub.com.
are gone.
Yeah, other websites are gone. What is this? Fucking
When we run
2007?
against whatever his name is, when we run against him as co-mayor of New York, which we do not live in,
No.
I think
would
it'd be
never
better to
live in
get
New
an
York.
outside perspective.
Listen, I don't know. They don't like the guy. Who's the other guy that they're running against?
Andrew Cuomo.
I've seen a meme. I don't know if he really said this or not, but he said, "I'm not a pervert. I'm Italian." Yep. And so I don't know if that's
Did he really
real or
say
not.
it or no? Do we know? Is it confirmed?
Like, I don't want
funny.
to. I don't want to. But I did see that too.
I don't
And I was like, okay, dude.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but I did think that was a funny meme.
I love the idea of rating different candidates, but based on how good the memes are, good or bad.
Yeah. So yeah, either way, I could see this getting dicey.
That's why we don't do politics. I just wanted to call a guy out for stealing our logo.
Like I said, he seems like a nice guy. He is approved in all of the circles of people that we interact with.
All right, buddy. Then you can have the logo. That's our gift to New York.
Yep. If you want, I can send you the font file. In exchange, I need a $25 Jimmy John's gift card. if you're running for public
Don't
office,
give us a gift card to any of these dumb restaurants in New York. We want national chains.
National chains.
Found by a nearby strip mall.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he'll rate the plaza.
I'll tell you if it's a good or bad plaza.
Okay.
All right.
What are we doing now? Hey, I got another thing too. I've seen Brad Pitt. You like Brad Pitt. You're excited about F1. He's doing like press tours
He's doing
right
press.
now.
He was on Armchair
I
Expert.
want another hot take. He dresses like shit. I am not going to hear any more about this guy being cool until he gets a new stylist. Because he's got the same stylist as that one weird guy with the bucket hats we talked about from Succession.
Jeremy Strong.
That he needs to be
Are you saying they're the
stopped.
same stylist for real?
I don't know, but if I found out that it was, I would believe
Yeah.
it. Because it's the same kind of like dorky stuff
Yeah.
that they got like Seth Rogen running around in.
Yeah.
And shout out Seth Rogen. I think we like him. He seems okay.
He seems
but like
like
the
a cool
clothes
guy.
are not right.
Somebody posted, I think in the OG Discord of like my Style Forum friends, it was a photo of Brad Pitt. He's in some baggy, bad looking jeans and like a equally as bad blue velvet blazer top. Did you see this?
This feels right. Yeah.
Looks awful. It's very unflattering on a man as handsome as he. Looks awful. And then somebody took the photo of it's the Tim Robinson bit where he goes, "How would you like to have 200 friends?"
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And he's in that suit and it's the
Yeah.
exact same proportions and
Yeah.
drape and shit. And so it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that Brad
goes,
Pitt is
"Who are
dressing so bad.
you?"
I want you. when he sees the guy, I fucking love that. By the way,
face.
Timbo, I finally watched Friendship. What is that, Cole? What are you showing me?
This is him at.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's not good.
I'll show it on the
What's it
on
for?
the
What are
pod
we
too.
doing?
Is that for F1?
Yeah, it's for F1. This was like maybe a day or two ago, maybe, or maybe this was a little later. Whatever it is, it's been
That's
bad.
a movie you couldn't
Like, look
pay
at
me
that
to see,
GQ.
pal.
I think I will. I think I do want to see
He
it.
looks like Hollywood Hulk Hogan,
Yeah, brother.
who, everyone's least favorite professional wrestler now.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah, the jeans are bad. That sweater's weird. I don't
Looks
know
like a
who's
buckled
gotten. Someone's gotten to him. This is what I'm saying.
That's the photo that they linked. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't pushing the boundaries. This isn't like, oh, I don't understand it. The clothes are just goofy.
It's just
We
doing
got to
costumes.
stop the goofy clothes. I thought Orally killed it. I thought this is the brand to destroy this.
Goofy
The
clothes.
maximalist trend. This is it. But it keeps. What's he doing?
See, somebody's paying.
He's
you, man.
supposed to know. And which makes me think, did he never not know? He just had a good stylist for a long time and now he.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
No, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
with
know
you.
if I trust his personal style anymore.
Yeah.
I keep gesturing at Cole. I don't mean Cole. I mean Brad Pitt in the computer.
No, I agree, but think about him in Bullet Train with the bucket hat and the glasses. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he had a Kangol on. You're right.
Yeah. Hey, I finally watched Friendship.
Yeah.
You want to smoke a cigarette with us, little doll?
Little doll. I can't believe it took you so long to see that.
There's so many
Not a
bits
true fan.
that I need to go back through and rewatch
I
because
really
I definitely
think-
missed them.
I think that you also did miss a theater experience, like what's fun about a theater,
Yeah, because here's the thing is, it was like when you first watched it and I go, don't tell me anything. You said, listen, if I tried to spoil it for you, I
don't know
couldn't.
it, yeah.
And you're so right.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It was darker than I expected it to be. It was way more serious than I expected it to be. And it was way more a Tim Robinson than it was a Paul Rudd situation. Clearly they gave Tim Robinson the keys to the house, so to speak. And he just did his bit.
I also kind of it's like he'd said, I'm gonna write for myself, but somebody else write the rest of the movie, and I don't want them to know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it feels like he got dropped into a serious movie.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's so good. There's so many. I need to rewatch it because I don't have it in my mind enough where I'm able to recall all the bits that I thought were funny because there were so many. But like Connor O'Malley in the garage, he's wearing like the veteran hat. You know what I mean? And they're screaming at each other.
Oh, I'm so nervous all of a sudden.
He goes, if anyone wants to talk, you can come talk. Immediately
Immediately
starts
starts-
sauntering over towards the chair. Like, okay, great. I will. Oh, it's just good. It's just really good. I hope that it unlocks endless capabilities for him. It makes me even more excited for The Chair Company, which is the show that him and Zach Kanan got purchased by HBO.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. He's the best doing it right now. I
Yep,
think.
100% the best doing it. He's clearly found a lane and feels comfortable to be himself. So God bless. But I finally did see Friendship. That was a real treat.
Yeah. do you think you could figure out who styles Brad Pitt and maybe we get them on the pod? But I don't want them to hear this one before, so don't
listen to this when you say.
I want to come in hot.
I can try.
I come in hot. I go, what the hell?
Because it's straight up. If you went to like a '70s vintage store costume to like dress up for Halloween, that's what it looks like.
I just think, like I said, it's like the record scratched with this recent thing for me, and I'm like, wait a minute, has he always just had a good stylist and then he made a switch up and now it's maybe he doesn't have any personal style?
It might just be the case, yeah.
I don't know what.
Hollywood's got to stop fooling me.
Do you think that there's multiple personal stylists that will style multiple celebrities?
I think it depends on the one. I think if you're like at his level, you get like a relationship with one.
Yeah.
And you develop like a plan. And this guy went, hey, have you seen that brand ERL? And he's like, no. And he's like, yeah, let's just do that. Let's do it. That'll be popular forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway, we don't need to keep going on this. It's still in my head. I wanted to get more out.
It's appalling because he's so cool. Mm-hmm. Who does that leave us with cool celebrities that are just cool?
I don't know.
What about
Bill Murray is about the last one. Woody Harrelson.
They both got some sauce.
Yeah. Nah, I don't trust him. I feel like a story's going to come out and we're all going to go,
Woody Harrelson?
I don't know. I just don't
trust
trust him.
a bunch of weed. He's probably not that bad.
Yeah. He's... You're probably right.
He used to just be doing his own thing. All right, what do we got?
Are we at time? Should we?
Yeah, let's jump into some questions and then we can go to recommendations and then we'll probably be there somewhere around there.
Cool.
So I'll hit you guys with the first one. This kind of goes with what we're talking about here. What's a weird hill that you will die on when it comes to a personal style?
A weird hill we'll die on when it comes to personal style. I think we both are going to be aligned on one that I have, which is that like no clothes fit right away. Like no clothes look good as soon as you put them on.
Yeah. Undoubtedly. And in fact, I can cite a couple of things where I got the item, hated it to my core. Hated. Not these pants, but the summer weight fatigues in navy.
Yeah.
Got them. I got them right before we went to Phoenix. I was like, these are it. I wore them on the drive there so that they could meld to me. And at multiple times we were in that Airbnb, just empty ass Airbnb in fucking Mesa, Arizona. And I was like, I hate these pants. I hate them to my core. Now I would say they're like a top 2 in the wardrobe, if not the best pant in my wardrobe. So that's citing something very specific within the last 6 months that I absolutely hated that I think is perfect now. The VizVim jacket, as we talked on the last pod, the raw one that I have, fit kind of crazy. Now it was raw, but also denim jackets just need to wear in. Yeah. I think literally with everything, nothing's right until that third or fourth wear, till you get that first ding on it, or work up a sweat in it or something. Honestly.
Yeah, I think that this kind of goes hand in hand, but it's like the only personal style that's cool is if you're comfortable in the clothes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I don't think there's no amount of money, there's no type of brand, there's no anything that you could go, I'll just get all of it and put it on and then I'll be stylish. That's the worst type of style in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you see it now and then, I bet there's a ton of it going on at Fashion Week right now where everyone dresses different than how they normally dress because they're in a different location. So I'm fine with switching up your shit. That's all good. I get it. Dressing mildly different on vacation or whatever the fuck. You can experiment, try some new things on, all good.
Sure.
But I think at the end of the day, what makes you like cool in it or not is if like you're comfortable with yourself and cool with yourself and know what you're doing and are like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what do you make fun of us all you want. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the only level of maybe I've got a chance at being stylish is like that sort of thing where it's just like, you just don't care.
Yeah.
And it's what I'm going to do anyway. And I'm very comfortable with myself. And like, that's really what makes clothes cool is like the person in it. Cause you can be any size, style, type of whatever the fuck your thing is. You can be anybody and you can put the same outfit on 2 different people and I can go, it looks cooler on that person.
Yep.
And it's like, why? It's the same stuff. And you're like, because they're just doing something different. You know what I mean? Or it's just that they feel so confident that you're like, I want to be like them. And that's part of their style is that thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I think personal style being more important than clothes is that thing for me.
It's
so
how,
I think
it's how you wear
on.
it. It's like what size do you go with, et cetera, et cetera. Because in many cases, I know that it's a joke. I get the biggest size every time, but like that's how I feel comfortable, and if I had it in the size that maybe other people would think like, well, that's how it fits you like that, I would feel like shit all day, and like that would reflect in other aspects of my life. I would just feel less confident and assured in myself. You know what I mean? If I was wearing a bunch of shit that I felt was too tight on me or something, like I don't care. That it's how I like it to feel, and I found this very specific situation that I can show up and feel good, and I don't feel like I'm going to battle with a bricked ass fit, because nothing sucks more too than showing up and being like, ugh, hate it. Why did I do this today? This is stupid.
You're just like yanking at shit and bothering shit all the time. It's like, it doesn't matter what that thing is that you're wearing. Now it feels like, I don't know.
Everything's for naught. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that's one. I think that like, I don't know if this is like, what was the full question again? Like it's
a hill you would die on.
Yeah, it's like a hill.
Anything that related, because the other one would just be like, and I've diatribe plenty about this, but that like I think that fashion should be considered art more than it is. I do not understand why people can look at paintings and all this other bullshit and be like, that's more important than clothes, because clothes are, you know, tied to commerce or capitalism or whatever. It's like, and paintings aren't. Like, that's way fucking more expensive. What are you guys talking about? It's like exclusively for the 1%. You know what I mean? Like it's like what I think is insane is that like you sport like, you know, something like Caudle or James Coward or something. It's like, this is like a handful of people doing something cool.
Yeah.
You know, putting themselves out there in whatever way they're doing it, making interesting things, trying to also like reckon with something that's really hard to like make feel different, you know, because you can change the fabric, you can change the cut, but it's especially in menswear, a lot of it's so similar, you know, and I just think that like it's to be able to do that and then also be able to, like, I can, either of those brands, I can close my eyes and I can think about what the brand looks like, or like what the type of people that wear it, or like how it's styled. I can put all these associations with this like lifestyle that they've created around what they're doing. And it's so much bigger and broader than buying one thing. But at the same time, I can go to them at $300 and be like, I now own a piece of art made by, you know, these individuals. And in most cases, these are made in very limited quantities by small groups. It's like, what's the difference between that and buying a signed print even from a you know, a traditional artist? It's like, why is that considered fine art, but fashion gets put in this different category? I just think it's bullshit entirely. Well, and I think it diminishes what people do when people treat it like that. I hate when I don't understand why everyone's got this opinion on like luxury fashion is this like, and look, I understand it. If you want to call like whatever the hell Pharrell just did to Louis Vuitton, you want to call that capitalism, that's what it is. You know what I mean? It is to sell to a very specific group and to nobody else, and it's not for everyone, and it's exclusionary. And I can still see like, I see merit in all those things. I see history, I see lineage, I see what they're doing. I get it. But that, if you want to be mad at that thing, fine. It's owned by a big company. It's, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's an international brand. They got to do certain things. I'm not diminishing what they're doing necessarily, but I can see how you can make that argument. But when it comes to things like that we carry, where it's like predominantly small designers, small brands, people barely making it by in some cases, really like living paycheck to paycheck to produce art because they believe in it. What else do you want it to be? How could it be? How could it be more close to art?
And
I just don't understand.
You utility. You get to wear
it. Plus there's a function to it.
It's undoubtedly yours. Like the term patina has ebbed and flowed, you know, but like clothes developed patina specific to you. That is really fucking cool. When James Coward was doing the push for end of last year, going into this season, I believe, everybody was circulating that photo of, they had like an artist friend or something that gave him the black linen jacket, and
the replica.
And it's tattered to shit. The guy wore it for 300 days or whatever it was. It was X 100 days in a row, and like that made me want James Coward more than any other aspect about it, just to see how it wears and ages, and that, I just think that's really cool. So to answer your question, that is what you're getting from clothes that you're not getting from art too, is like art and shit is only there if you were to like Schrodinger's cat it. It's only there if you're there to observe it. So if you leave the room, it, really outside of the monetary value, it offers no value unless you are physically in front of it, looking at it, taking it in, and enjoying it. It might make you feel happy to know that you have this thing in some room of your house, but I would argue that like having a denim jacket that cost, realistically compared to art, 1/10 of the price, even if it was an expensive ass denim jacket, can bring you way more joy in many different facets of your life, because you get to wake up and get excited to wear that denim jacket, and it fades and wears to you over time, and you get to have it on your trip to Japan or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, whereas that painting only exists when it's right in front of you to be observed and really nowhere else outside of the value is how much you could sell it for later down the road. So I don't know.
Well, and listen, I don't want to diminish any other art form either. That's not the point. I want to make sure that
art's cool, but
Yeah.
what you're saying is why is it that
don't get me wrong, art's cool.
but like why people look at a jacket and it's like, well, that's too expensive. It's like, yeah, but like what if you only had this jacket and another one, you really loved them both and they brought you joy every time you wore it, et cetera, et cetera.
People just seem to have the desire to make fashion specifically smaller than it is. Do you know what I mean? As a cultural touch point. Which it's like, I would also argue, especially like, and you know, this can be a negative towards our culture in general, but a lot more people have participated inside of fashion and can participate inside of fashion, which I believe should be considered art, the same as art at least, than anybody is going to interact with any given piece of like fine art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think people that hate when clothes are expensive and shit, like I'm thinking of like an archetype of a person and it's like, well, what are you doing with that? That's a $700 jacket, this, that, and the other. But the same person wouldn't bat an eye at having a $650, $700 car payment for their Tundra. You know what I mean? And I think it's just people value things in other ways.
But it's, for me, it's specifically the valuation of art.
Yeah.
Like, and in fashion, never very.
I see what you're saying.
Not very often
never
being
through the lens
classified
of-
in the same way. I'm not saying never. I obviously know it's not. The answer's not never. But it does feel like if you pulled 10 people on the street right now, fashion, most people aren't going to consider it art. You know what I mean? It's considered something different, or you know, it's a. I don't know. That bothers me in the way that people sort of view that. Like, no one's going to look at fine art in a museum and say, why the hell is this $10,000? I mean, that's a low number. You know what I mean? Like, and it, like, no one's going to say that, but everyone, you know, people complain about like a $400 jacket and you're like, I just don't, if you're talking to me about like, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about like Zara or some shit. Sure. I get what you're saying. That is just that's a business. It's a business and nothing else, you know, that's all it is. And it doesn't need to be valued as art. That's fine, you know? But I think there's people, the people that Zara rips off, that are making art, and I want those artists to be respected as artists and not just like part of like commerce. I think that sucks. You know what I mean? Especially when you meet people like we just talked to, you know, the team from Harrow, which is a tiny team, and where we interact directly with the designer, and you can tell this is a passion project. This is something that they did. He cares so much about this thing and improving it and making it better and evolving it while still having like a steady vision. I mean, I don't understand like how is what I'm describing not. It would be valued higher if I said he was working on paintings rather than clothes.
Yeah, sure.
So that's a hill I would die on. Is that I think.
Do you think that it's the painting is a one-off?
Sure. I mean, you can make that argument, of course. You know what I mean? But I could
people also pay thousands of dollars for a print. A high quality print.
100%. Yeah.
I mean?
I would gladly do that, you know, depending on what it is. You know, I mean, I'm all for that as well. And I understand that there's one-off nature to it, but I think you could also argue that like in most cases, like the things we have from Coddle exist for one season and then do not come back.
Oh yeah,
you know?
sure.
So, you know, just because there was 20 of them made, that devalues it beyond, you know what I mean? Like that makes it not art just because there's duplicates.
No, I'm just saying I could see somebody saying there's one of these.
Picasso painted the same face a million times. The same is just slight variations.
Yeah.
I mean, and then those I imagine were all sold. So it's like like I said, I just think that like, why am I even having to like bicker? No, I'm not bickering with you, but yeah, in general, like with people about this, because it should be considered the same thing. And I know I'm preaching to a choir here, but it does it's a thing that always bothers me, that like I just don't understand why those are two different.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Same thing with like wine or food or anything like that. Why is that? It's like incredibly disposable and stupid in a lot of ways, you know, but that is seen and valued in a different way. Like fine dining is seen in when you're going to pay the same amount of money you would pay for, you know, the shirt or jacket, you know? So
yeah,
it's not like a rock solid argument necessarily, but I just feel that, I don't know. It's something that has bugged me since I started in the industry. So.
No, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's like maybe like you were talking, you go to 10 people randomly, depending what city. I think that a lot of people would be like, oh, like high couture, you know, like something that Celine made. They'd be like, that's art. Or these one-off, like you think of these famous dresses or famous, you know, like, I don't know, Yves Saint Laurent making something in the 50s or 60s or whatever. And I think it's a confusion of like, okay, how does my Shein dress differ from a small company that makes it? And I
yeah,
I think it's a good vouch of like, this is what we're trying to do.
I mean, I
or
think you can
what you're
also
fighting
argue
for.
that, for me at least, the valuation of art should be how it makes you feel. You know what I mean? It's supposed to elicit some sort of feeling from you,
Yeah.
good, bad, sad, glad, whatever the hell it is, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But if a Shein dress makes you feel that, what is that? Who am I to argue with that? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no, that's a good point.
I think there's a lot of things that are happening rip-off wise, and they're stealing designs and things like that, which I think is garbage. And I think also making things unethically when it is possible to do it ethically, even if you do need to cut costs, there's plenty of places around the world that are handling that much better than a lot of major fast fashion. But that's, so you get rid of a couple of those things and suddenly somebody's making a piece of fast fashion that's coming out of Portugal or something like that, as long as it's like handled well. So let's just say it's a less expensive item. It's not based on the value of, in my opinion, the value. It's like what it elicits and what it makes you feel. And I think that it's easier to do that with like brands that we carry, where you can really like connect with the designer. Like they're not hard to find. That they've done interviews. They've talked about the stuff. It's a different sort of thing. But I just don't, I especially when you look at some of the runway that's happening these days and you're like, there's really interesting things happening culturally inside of that's affecting things at a bigger level. That's what I think was so interesting about this popularization of streetwear, of like, it made it so much more accessible, and it made people start considering art that they had access to for the first, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what streetwear brought things to a different level, a much younger audience for the first time, which I think is huge, and a much more diverse audience for the first time is in fashion, which is huge. And then that really makes it so that like when you're sort of evaluating the art, as it were, now it's available to so many more people, and the more people you get involved in that, now you're educating that and younger. Now they're going to come along. I think a lot of the kids that that have been coming in since they were like 15 and shit are now like in their 20s and going to be in their 30s, and they learn to appreciate that art at a young age. So you can bitch and moan about sneakers and streetwear, whatever the fuck you want to do, but it made kids start appreciating art. Maybe for the first time.
Yeah.
And like, you're not going to take them to a museum and show them a painting from the 1800s and be like, look at how incredible that is. It is. But that's not where you start. You know what I mean? The same way that I'm not going to put, a Celine dress on someone who, normally just wears office casual. Like that's a huge jump, from one to the next. So I think that like, wherever you're coming in at it, it's teaching you to appreciate art, lifestyle, fashion. I mean, look, we were just looking at a brand, I won't say it yet because we haven't officially written it, that blends a complete lifestyle where clothes are part of it, but so is pottery, so is pieces of art, so is like fabrications, special
apothecary scent.
Scent. Yeah, it's like it's incorporating all these different forms, in the same way that I could work with clay and oil and blah blah blah. It's the same thing. I don't see what the difference is. You're using different mediums to express yourself, and you can connect with the artist and try to make something happen culturally. And then I think that when you get to a level where you're doing runway or whatever, now you are impacting culture. What you're putting out there, what's getting photoed, will affect things long term, viscerally and at scale. And I think that's really cool. You know what I mean? And like, I just can't think of a better like 1-to-1 of what art is doing when it's doing the best thing it can do. So
No, interesting.
that's the hill I'll die on.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's interesting too, like what you're talking. I think I was probably a good example of someone that was young, got into like streetwear stuff about it. And I think I got so obsessed with the hype almost of it.
Yeah, of course.
Whether that was like a financial thing
but
or
just change it from hype to culture. You got to obsess with the culture of it, the people behind it, the brands that are doing it, the camaraderie that came with trying to collect it. That's just art. If I just put art, instead of Nike, I say it's some painter. It's somehow perceived as a higher. And I think that's probably why it's bothering me, is that there's like a fundamentalist like mindset of like, this can only be consumed by a certain level of person. That's probably why I'm getting so revved up about it, because that's kind of, I think, how we felt growing up in the Midwest, where it's like, you just don't have access to this stuff. It's not that like our parents were keeping us from it, maybe economically to a certain degree, but that's just because that in that location, there wouldn't be any place there that we have access to see it or connect with it. I think that's why like skateboarding is so important for here or like a music scene, where you first start to see self-expression through the things you're wearing or the things you're
skateboarding, and then later on shows.
Sure.
But first and foremost, skateboarding. just
Oh, yeah.
consuming
But
again,
all
you
the
connect,
media and just,
and you connect with the culture and the graphics on the board and, the shoes you wear, and somebody starts doing it differently, and that changes everything, you know. And I just think that like it's like all that stuff is really important, and that's why I don't like when it's devalued. You know what I mean? I just think that is such a silly way to be like, if it's not being done up at this level that we're used to, then it doesn't count. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I mean, that's total bullshit.
Yeah.
What Coddle's doing is equal to me as what Prada's doing. In fact, probably more true to like what pure art is, in the same way that I understand that there's mass appeal versus in the same way that like, can't think of a good band to compare this to, but I can understand why someone that's at like a much wider audience and has a much wider audience, I understand why that's still important, and some tiny band in a garage is also really important, even though one maybe feels a bit more pure. But
no,
again, you're arguing. You're. It's like those arguments are so silly because it's like you're trying. That is like trying to gatekeep people out of being interested in art. And I think that that's like the worst thing that fashion could do. And it got equalized, and you can like him or not, but it's because of Virgil. I mean, he's a big piece of that puzzle. I think he's the biggest piece of that puzzle lately. But there's been people before that, you know what I mean? You know, the first person to put denim on the runway, I'm sure, I don't know who that was, to be honest with you, but I would be interested because I'm sure that was a big deal to first bring like working class clothes into that space.
Totally, yeah.
And anything that disrupts that, like this stupid like oligarchy that can be fashion is cool and interesting, and that'll push the genre forward. But just to be clear, I mean, I obviously know that like in art culture, the same things, everything I'm describing exists there too. There's this gatekeepy, this is only for certain people, you know what I mean? And you can't do it if you don't know anything about it. And this is what we qualify as this is qualified as high art, and this is not, and we get to dictate that to you. And it's like, bullshit, you get to dictate that to me. Culture gets to dictate that. You know? So I think that fashion does that way more than almost any other art form to a certain degree because of the accessibility of it. But at the same time, it gets devalued, which I think sucks. So.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. Why do you think, not to keep going on this, you guys can be like, you can shut up, Cole, but why do you think Japan, we carry so many Japanese brands here, right? And I feel like a lot of our brands all are based in Japan. Why do you think it's coming more out of Japan than it is coming out of like America, for example?
I think it's celebrated culturally to
100%,
take care in what you like and or do.
I think that it's a very the culture of Japan is very passionate about the things that they do. And I think that that's why we resonate so much with the brands and things coming out there. Number one, number two, I guess is what I mean. But the reinterpretation of American sportswear through the Japanese lens is one of the coolest things that I've seen happen, because it's like, it just takes something that we're all familiar and nostalgic for and has this very like American, like especially like old America feel to it. And then it's reinterpreted in a way that feels like fresh and interesting and kind of celebrates what America should be in the first place, which is our culture through other people's lens. I think it's doing that at like the purest level, which I think is incredible.
I mean, do you remember when Jiro Dreams of Sushi came out? I feel like for most people that was like everybody's like first exposure into like Japan. You know what I mean? Like before, everybody knows about Japan now because it's dope and it's a cool spot to go.
100%,
but I remember being like, wow, that guy only makes rice for that many years, right? And like I feel like that translates through everything that we
there's a dedication to craft and art
and
there.
it's just cool because here you would never just do a thing for 10 years doing that one task. It just like isn't gonna happen, and I just think our culture is not set up to accommodate such a thing, you know.
Yeah, they really seem to support like makers and artists and craftsmen,
It's cool.
and stuff like that. At least that seems culturally what they're super supportive of. This is obviously all just interpreted through my personal lens, so I'm not sure if this is. You know, I'm sure people would argue differently, but at least from at least in the business that we do with Japan. That's the reason. It's just because I can't think of anyone who's more passionate about what they're doing. It's not to say that there aren't, but like that's just where a lot of the stuff that we're also interested in, like workwear, military, all these different like influences seem to resonate with Japanese designers as well. So that's probably a little bit of the reason. It feels a lot of the Japanese fashion feels so classic because a lot of it's being, taken from like what America made as popular culture, just because like, through film and TV. I mean, I think if you'd talk to a lot of designers from other countries, they would tell you a lot of the things that they saw, like a lot of their inspiration comes from like American movie, like Hollywood and stuff like that, just because that's like one of our biggest exports, you know?
Oh,
So I
totally.
think that being able to see that and then going, oh, this is how I would do it differently. That's what makes it, that piece of the puzzle is what makes it interesting. So,
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. This kind of goes a little bit on the line as well. You guys always talk about how, you know, going along the line of like basically clothing as a storytelling, you know, maybe it's a brand or something that you own that has a story with it. I'm just asking both of you guys, do you both own a piece of clothing that maybe carries a story?
Everything. Not to be like cheesy.
Yeah.
But like at this point, I've gotten rid of so much. I was trying to do like the 1 in, 1 out. I would say I'm 1 in, 4 out for the last year or two. So I have all that I have left are things that I really, really love so much. And I would say everything in my closet, I could tell you when I got it, what the situation was. So yes, everything. I don't really have anything that I don't value deeply at this point.
I mean, I think it
Not-
goes
not
into
to-
what we were talking about earlier is what makes stuff cool is that you like, it's yours.
I
You
would
know
say,
what
yeah,
mean?
it's all undoubtedly mine at this point. And that's why I like it more than something new. But we have access to clothes at all times.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm hardly buying new shit as I have these new Clarks on. Shout out Clarks. But but also it's the same thing that I've already had in a couple different ways. So, but anyway, I just like all the shit that I have. I intentionally got rid of things so that I only wear things that I deeply love. And so, yeah, there's a story for all of it. Maybe a little different, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not like as romanticized as people want it to be, but like I remember when I got it, and you know,
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like the way you come to whatever it is that's your style is the thing that has like the deeper story or whatever. You know, like we were joking about the Mel Ottenberg thing with the
great,
post.
really good,
But
so
like,
good.
I got a lot of that going on, like
Yeah.
especially in like the jeans category and the shoes category, where it's like basically all the same shit but like slightly different. And I think it takes a certain amount of time and dedication to a certain thing where you can look through what I think most people would look at all my jeans and go, why do you have so many of the same thing? I'm like, you don't understand. If I have 10 pairs or 20 pairs, whatever the fuck I have, at any point, that's like, I bought 50 to get here and got rid of the ones I thought were
Yeah,
not good.
yeah.
And then these are the ones that remain, and they all have different various purposes based on these like subtle differences. You know what I mean? Which is like, if you think about it, it can be like, if you're appreciating like film, for example, the first things you resonate with are big, like classic Hollywood blockbusters. You know what I mean? They're classics, or maybe you get into like Godfather and blah, blah, blah. And you start to go, oh, I appreciate this is a great film. But then you start dissecting and learning more and learning about these things and getting introduced to new artists and blah, blah, blah. And you keep getting more and more refined to the point where I can tell you exactly the slivers about movies or things that I don't like because I've spent so much time and dedication to that, like digesting that thing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the story that goes into all this stuff, where it's like, it's not about any one given piece necessarily. It's that it took me forever to like weed through this and develop this as my thing. And I've been doing this since like high school.
Yeah.
And these are meaningful to me because of that. So there's that. I mean, I have like one pair of their old 1967 505s back in the day. Shout out. I don't know if I can shout them out. I won't shout him out. I don't never know if we're supposed to dox people's names and shit. But a guy that I used to work with at Levi's Vintage Clothing, I think he sometimes listens. So if he does, he knows who he is. And if he doesn't, shout out every fucking guy that takes your calls and answers your weird questions when you're a kid. Because this guy did that for me a lot, especially in the fashion industry, when I felt very like new to it and fresh and like a baby, and I didn't know stuff, and I thought everyone could see through that I didn't know everything that they knew. And this guy always took my call, always picked up, chatted with me about nothing or chatted with me about clothes. He gave me the first pair because I couldn't afford them. When I got my first job, I was getting paid nothing. I needed to look like the other guys, but I couldn't afford a pair of selvage jeans because they were $250, which doesn't sound so crazy now. But at the time, I mean, even just with inflation over the past 5 years, but like it's been like 15 or whatever. That was like $400, $500. It felt impossible to have that spend that money on jeans. And he hooked a pair up, and it's that pair, and they were 1967 505s. They were raw. Only pair of cool jeans I had, so I wore them every single day. They look more beat up than these jeans or any jeans I have. They were all
Do you
me.
still
that
have
wore
them?
Yeah, I don't know if they fit. I haven't tried them on.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't even think they could. They got repaired so many times. Crotch blew out so many times. Got adjusted. Knee was blown out. Had that fixed by a different guy. Had the other side of the leg fixed by this friend of mine that I hired at the other business I worked at for a long time. That he'd done some like drawings on and stuff at the same time. So they ended up becoming this really special thing, and now they just exist in my closet. And it reminds me that, you know, they're like you see them now and then. I'm like, oh, I forgot about these. They're so sick. You know what I mean? And it's more like a nostalgia thing of like, oh man, these were really important to me at one time. So I think that those, and then like, you know, all my band t-shirts, which I don't even know if I have emotional connections to all of them. They just mean something bigger than they could ever possibly be. So maybe that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think you and I also both fall in the category of like, I've said it. I have to play a game to buy a thing. I need to convince myself that I really want it and that I need it, and I'll think about it. And if a week goes by and I'm still thinking about it, then I'll continue the game. But it goes on and on and on. So
2 years go by, we finally buy a pair of
I'll buy
socks.
the Rototo socks. But by the time I have it and I own it, it's been on my mind for a long time.
Sure.
And I think that also contributes for me personally, and you're more or less the same way too, where things have sold out from underneath you, or like this James Couch, you're like, I've wanted this for so long, I'm not going to play the game. But you're also not a guy who is just like, ooh, I like this, and you just go and buy it. And
you also have seen me. If I want something forever and I try it and it doesn't fit right, then I'm like done. Like, you know what I mean? I can tell this isn't gonna,
100%.
because it just won't. Then it won't get worn.
Well,
and
I
don't
don't force it, and then feel uncomfortable in the clothes, as we said, and then at that point, so yeah.
No, that's interesting.
I'm trying to think if I have any. I mean, I have like pieces of jewelry that are sentimental to me because they were like my grandparents and stuff like that. But other than that,
who's this guy helping her?
He's fixing the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I was like,
he's our IT
nobody's
guy.
batting an eye about this strange guy.
He's been in and out the past couple
Okay,
days.
okay, and I haven't. So that makes sense. I was like, guys, what the fuck are we doing here?
Just letting people come in and out.
That's apple. Okay, cool. So yeah, that adds it up. But most of it for me is the obsession that goes towards it, and then when I eventually get it, I'm really happy because I've been pining over it for a long time. So
honestly, I feel like more people that maybe are so financially like in a bad spot should learn that from you, Chase.
Well, and the thing is
I'm
not. I don't need to pat myself on the back here, but I am incredibly. I am not flippant with money in any regard. I am so extremely.
Neither of us are. We're very
fucking cheap and methodical. Neither of us. Well,
we come from a conservative area. And we are very careful with money.
I'll happily go to Whole Foods and buy the things I want, but that's because I've made that decision. And if I want to get food from Whole Foods, I'm going to get food from Whole Foods, and I don't fucking care how much it costs. That's like the only aspect of my life where I am flippant. But if I'm in Whole Foods and I want to try a new chip or something or some sort of thing, I get it and I don't care about it. But literally everything else in my life is not that way, and more or less same with Timbo. So because I can think back to like high school and shit, and like friends that like had racked up credit card debt, multiple credit cards maxed out before we even fucking graduated from high school and shit. And I would assume that they are more or less playing the same game now. It's just at a much higher sum.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me.
No.
For what?
We're happy with you. Do whatever you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
You do what you need to do.
This person I'm thinking of was buying...
Canoe Club credit card coming soon.
5%
cashback. 16% interest.
I can facilitate you overspending here at Canoe Club. I'll happily do so. But I
think there's a big difference between like the stuff that I buy for myself as opposed to clothes. Clothes is a different thing. I'm not going to be coy that we get like free clothes because we work in this. We work directly with the brand. We obviously get it at a discount. I'm not trying to like, no one's hiding any of that stuff. But also we work around it all the time, and I work with it all the time, and I think about it all the time. And honestly, if I never bought any clothes going forward, I really don't care. It's not the buying, it's the obsessing, it's the researching, it's the merchandising in the store, getting it out of the boxes. It's all that. I get like that experience that not everyone gets like every day.
I get and
I don't need to own it.
I like to see what everybody's stoked on. That makes me excited. I feel happy. Similarly, not exactly the same, but when you see Gia having a good time, you know what I mean? We sell through things and people are stoked. We're having a good time because we're selling through the shit. People are having a good time because they're getting the packages quickly. They're happy that we carried it, what have you. I get joy from that. It's like I'm obsessing in my head about I still need a top and matching denim kit. Now that I got my 2 denim jackets that I love, neither of them have exact matching top bottom pants. So now when that time comes, I will have been thinking about it for months, and I will have already given myself the allowance to buy it if it comes and fits me perfectly exactly the way I want. And if it doesn't, then it just continues on, and I'm none the wiser because I don't really give a shit. I got plenty of denim jackets and shit. But
I think that like I don't really care about the purchasing and buying of things. Like I think that's a big, or like collecting. I think that's a lot of like consumers, customers of ours, and I'm not diminishing that at all. There's plenty of stuff I do that is like that. This being good at buying has nothing to do if you're a good shopper. In fact, I would say that makes you worse at your job, quite frankly, if you're just like, I love shopping and nothing more.
if you're buying for yourself, that's wrong.
Yeah, we're like fucking promoters, man. Like I think that like what I like doing is all the stuff that I did for bands, growing up and shit, where it's just like I just want to be stoked on a band. I want to get everyone else stoked about it. I want to get people to come to the show. I want to sell the merch that goes with it. I want everyone to be hyped on this like person that you're, this thing that's going on. And that's what I think we do the best, is that stuff, is just getting people hyped on the stuff that we're hyped about. And it's like the purchasing is secondary. It's like sometimes that works out and stuff, but like I don't wear every single thing that we buy. I don't personally resonate with every single brand, but I do personally resonate with what they do, how they do it, the type of people that wear it, like the way it can look over because you never, I don't know. It's just, it's cool. That's what makes it special, is that like it brings more people in as opposed to like exclude more people out. So like that's what I like about the whole thing. It's not really, the purchasing is sort of secondary.
Yeah. It's beautiful. We'll do one more question, then wrap it up here. But is there a piece of clothing that maybe has come across you in Canoe Club, maybe it's before Canoe Club, that you still regret not buying?
We've already brought that red Orly jacket of mine too many times. But that's a definite one for me. Man, look at that man's Bottega bag he's rocking around.
No,
you want to come on the pod? I'm trying to think if there's any other like major.
There's some shit I've sold. I sold a pair of workaday fatigues in black that were flowy as fucking soft because I washed them a ton. Sold them for probably $45 on Grailed.
Damn.
To just like buy a different pair of pants. You know what I mean? So that was silliness. The prisoner coat from Orslo comes to mind. It's like a 3/4 length wool one. Chris has one. Ian bought one when we had it. No. Other than that, no. Because I really truthfully feel there's just so many opportunities for other things that I'll like.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were ones that I should have just got that. But I can tell you right now, there's 5 or 6 things coming for fall that I'm excited about. And if they come and they fit well, maybe I'll get it. If they don't, I'll breathe a sigh of relief and somebody else will buy it and it's fine. So. I don't really worry about all that.
It doesn't come up too often for all the reasons I think maybe we just talked about.
We have opportunity to buy so much more clothes at any time.
We also have the curse of we always know what's next.
Yeah.
So you always spend a lot of time being like, I could get that, but like if I just wait 6 months, this jacket is fucking banging.
Yeah.
It's coming. You know what I mean?
It's coming. Yeah.
And then sometimes that comes and you're like, it didn't fit. Shit. You know what I mean? And then you're like, all right, well, move on. You know what I mean?
The next 6
it's like you're always on to the next thing. So I don't think too much about the stuff that goes. I mean, there was another thing just recently that was the same deal as that Orly coat where I'm like, well, I'm going to get that tomorrow. I'll step in and get it tomorrow.
You know what it was?
What was it?
It was the Black Niceness kit.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's not what you were thinking of, but that was one that you were spinning on.
That was true too. The
twill,
black. And I thought, this is
cool.
plain enough that I'm not sure if this is going to go. I'll try it on tomorrow and get it tomorrow. And then I came in and it was gone.
Yeah.
So that's
those flew.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that, but it's like, they'll do another one and I'll be stoked about that one or, who knows. I'll change up my whole shit and then maybe that's not it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's like let me ask you a question. What's one thing that's like a thing of yours? Like, like for example, because I've been thinking like, in fact, we just were looking at Harold and I've been thinking recently, I never wear navy. It just never, no navy. It's just always been a thing of mine. I have no idea why. It's just like I don't know. Every time I've had an item that was navy, I had troubles working it into my stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no, this is all personal, dumb.
Yeah, I get
but
you.
it's just, that was my thing. Plus I also kind of believe in the whole, the German Shepherd color palette.
Yeah,
you just agree to like a color palette and then that like easily weeds out things that I don't need to think about. But I've been thinking like there was a great I don't remember, it was like a sweater or whatever. There was a great, remember I said it's a
Today was a
perfect
tee
navy.
from
Where it's
Harold,
like, yeah. And it's like, it's that navy that's almost like a more cobalty navy or
it's
more
like a steel
grayish
bluish,
navy,
yeah,
steely.
yeah.
And it looks nice with black and stuff. And I think that I would like to break that weird rule that I've set for myself, but I just need to find the right thing. Do you have a weird rule that you've set where you're like, I'd like to break it, I just don't know what would break it?
No, I had the weird rule that comes to mind is I don't like wearing gray tops, whether it's a t-shirt
Why?
or a sweater or something. No, it for some reason I feel like gray makes me look wider. It makes me feel and look more broad.
Did you see like one picture of yourself and then lock this away? Because I don't think that.
No,
gray
it was from a specific piece. It was, we had Universal Works back in the day. It was a wool Universal Works cardigan. Paige actually has the exact same one. That one, for the life of me, whenever I put it on, dude, I felt like I got 3 or 4 inches wider, bro. I was like a truck with 2 back tires. You know
I feel
what
like
I'm saying?
that's less about color and more about whatever the cut of that thing was.
It probably is, but that's just what it is. I don't have any gray. I have one gray crew neck that I like. But I don't know, it works. But no, I don't know. No, I don't have anything like that in particular. More so, it's less like exclusionary and more I only work within
What about jeans?
XYZ. Well, I'm looking for a pair of jeans, but
okay, so that's what this is the question I'm asking is like, what breaks it? So I understand, like, I understand all your weird things. Don't get too deep into them because you have one thing that we do not need to talk about. But with jeans. With jeans,
oh yeah,
don't do it.
Yeah, it's anything you have to wear a belt with. I don't like sensory.
It's a personal thing.
Hate it.
I can understand what you're saying. I mean,
Yes.
I think first of all, I do think that like it's like you haven't put on a pair of jeans since like your pair of 316s or whatever.
They
it would
were.
have been.
I had a pair of Orslo 107s. I had a pair
Okay,
of
107s don't feel like
105s.
that's a slimmer jean.
Yeah, but this was back in the day.
What I'm saying is you can just evolve the type of jean you have, and maybe some of those issues wouldn't
to
be
be
there.
more reflective of the fit that I am
Yeah,
fond
well,
of
the
for
fit
sure.
and I think that what you need is something like flowier and like a little bit more washed. But for some reason, you're only ever attracted to like raw. And that's uncomfortable. Obviously,
I'll be honest with you. For jeans, I'm only interested in raw. I'm only interested in raws. And
you're like a dork.
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah, cool.
In my head, what I'm thinking is, do you remember when we were in Tokyo when you got sick and we waited in the airport for a long time?
You're gonna hate that, is what I'm saying.
I will, but
sensory-wise,
that's what I
that.
want. That's what I want. Remember that kid that was wearing the full denim kit?
You keep talking about that. I wish I had a picture.
It was
of this
a perfect kit, dude. It was just the way it fit him was perfect, and I was like, damn, you haven't seen a matching top and bottom denim kit like that. Money. So what will move the needle for me is if I can get a pair of jeans that fit well, but it needs to. I want the matching denim top. That's kind of where I'm at now. If I'm gonna get a pair of jeans, it's because I'm getting the matching kit with it. That's where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. And if it's not, then it's going to be a pair of 101s or 100s from Orslo One Wash.
Yeah.
See, I think that you need to look to like, like the U.S. Navy denim that Orslo does. I think you need to do that because then you get the look of the dark stuff that you're into.
I had a pair of those, and I sold them to Lil Dibs because he wanted to do part of his capsule.
Well, it's like something like that type of fabric is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because then it's like it's
like a
moving
flowier
on
denim.
you, but it's denim, and it would still age and everything. I think that would help you get over whatever all your stuff is.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules with jeans in particular, and I'll say this, and I stand by it. For me, even in college when I got my first pair of raws, I got Naked and Famous left-hand twill Weird Guys. Bought them from a store in the Beechwood Mall in Cleveland, and my friend was working.
Damn, the Beechwood Mall in Cleveland's got raws?
It's a store that carried Naked and Famous, and they had Mason Kitsune. And if you bought a pair of raw denim for that weekend, you got a free T-shirt. And
the weirdest promotion that's ever existed.
She pointed me towards the Mason Kitsune shirt because it was $100. I think it was $105 retail, and I was like, I want a $100 T-shirt, so I got the T-shirt for free.
Did it had the fox embroidered on it?
It was blue and had just Kitsune in varsity letters, but I probably got like a US medium, had little tiny vintage sleeves. I wore it maybe one time, and I carried it with me everywhere, probably through college. You know what I mean?
Damn.
But
Listen, here's what I want. This is what I want for you. Okay.
Tell me.
And I think we need to get the internet rallied around this. Okay.
Yeah.
I think either not back half of this year. Well, maybe it could be back half of this year. I want Chase 3.0. Here's what I want. Let me describe this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We take the hats, we get rid of them.
Just
I need a
fucking
haircut. Just let me rock. I'm not going to listen to
and then I am happy to not wear the hat as
because
much.
I think you've got a nice head of hair. What do you think, you're going to have your hair forever? Or you're going to have
No, I
you're
think
going to
it's
have
thinning.
the exact the way it is now? No, of course not. And you only ever look worse every single year, no matter how hard you try.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
And then at some point you start seeing and things look,
Yeah.
like the Kardashians' grandma. So what I'm saying is, we go hat off, new confidence. We tussle that your hair. You got a nice hairline. You're looking great.
Yeah, I got a lot of hair.
We get a very lightweight, low lift for you skin regimen going, because you got good skin. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna get you glowing up. So now you're feeling confident in the head. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we go lower. We get into I want to see you wear a sweater.
I have a couple sweaters.
I want to see you wear a cashmere sweater. I want to see you wear something where I know you're going to be a little worried that you're going to do something to it because for some reason you think you work construction or something.
Yeah.
Or like a flowier shirt, some sort of. I want to soften the top of you a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And no hard jackets. We'll get you like a soft, I don't know, something.
We got a lot of shirting coming from William Frederick that I wrote yesterday.
Maybe some
and
linen.
some nice linens and shit. And I am keen to check some of those out for fall. Yeah.
Great. And then I think I don't care what you do pants wise.
They're already flowy-ish.
Yeah. I don't care about that. You've got it's all good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying your normal thing isn't good. I just like this idea of breaking a couple of your anomalies.
Yeah.
Just breaking you out of the things you're locked into.
Well, let me pitch you something that is kind of meeting in the middle here, because I was writing all the product, so I know exactly what's coming for fall from most of these brands, and it's all fucking heat. I'll tell you that right now. Le Maire.
I'm fucked with Le Maire, yeah.
We have Boxy jacket coming in black, so I need.
I hear you. I like that for you because that's a brand move for you.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's right in your lane.
Yeah.
You're not doing any work.
And there's matching. They're like barrel workwear pants.
Why do you need everything to be like
I just love it. I love a matching situation. And I think about, since writing that, I've thought about it. That is what I think I'm buying this fall. And
that's
the Herald
great.
bomber.
I mean, I'm happy to hear. I don't understand where is what I wanted coming into this, just because it's Le Maire?
What? Yeah, that is meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
So it is a departure.
You just know I like Le Maire, so you thought.
No,
the things labeled
you've always
workwear
You've
from
always
Le
been like,
Maire.
well, I like Le Maire for you, or Orally, where they're the workwear inspired things and the silhouette.
Hold on.
You know,
the Le Maire thing comes from because you'd like the way it fits you.
Love it, yeah.
Because it's everything's like, I'm wearing a medium. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you're gonna like the way it's fitting, and it's all big and boxy, and you know what I mean. Like it's very much up your alley. That's the only reason I think you should do Le Maire.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do beyond that. I just think you'd like the way it fits. Because you're always complaining about you get these weird Japanese denim jackets. You're like, too small. It's crazy. And it's like, no shit. Those always run small.
Luckily, the Visvim was a 4, but it was unwashed, so it ran huge. And then this Caudal is a 5, so it worked out great.
I'm just saying, like you could be wearing a large from Le Maire, and you're fine.
Yeah, probably.
So
that's
why I think you'd like.
That's what I would like to try the Le Maire situation, but that was my thinking is like,
I want you covering yourself up a little less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show some skin.
Yeah.
You saw
wear a t-shirt.
Unbutton some buttons.
We were on a call yesterday doing some buying stuff, and I was at home and I had my little integrity cutoff on, just sweating. Integrity cutoff at home is not what I'm lking for. Yeah, you want me to dress that way in public? No. No, I want you. I like I said, let's get you in like a nice t-shirt. Yeah. I don't mean just a lady whitey. We'll get you something that's more intentionally like not mid-layer. It's on its own. Yeah. Why would you not like that? You like moving around. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You like flowing around. Yeah. It's good for you. Yeah. Everyone knows you have the tattoos. Show them off. Who cares at this point? I got a bunch of them, guys. So.
What if you suddenly got them all removed?
You guys hadn't seen me.
Didn't tell us.
I've worn long sleeves so long and just didn't talk about it. I had a friend in college. We were over my buddy's house. We would go. These kids kind of took us under their wing and would take us to shows. They were older than us. One of them's in a band that is fucking huge now. But anyway, point being is one of the fellas that lived in the house shows up, comes inside, and somebody else comes in and goes, "The fuck is that? Whose car is this?" And one of the guys in the house had gotten a new car but didn't tell anybody because he knew that they would just make fun of him for getting a new car, so he didn't tell anybody. And that'd be like me getting all my tattoos removed but just didn't say anything about it. And it was like, how long? Oh, you did it 6 months ago. I didn't think anybody would care. You know?
Get them all blacked out like the guy from Joyce Manor.
Yeah, Joyce Manor. Yeah.
That line of thinking, I like Joyce Manor a lot, but that line of thinking of like, these tattoos are a little embarrassing. I totally get it. I'm on board so far. And then you're like, okay, options. Wear long sleeves, get them removed over time, or I could just make it all one tattoo. That's the craziest option to me that doesn't make any sense.
I think it looks cool. I think it looks
You want to
cool.
look like you're wearing Under Armour all the time? Yeah.
It literally looks like you're wearing a compression sleeve.
Like, I had a friend that had it, and every time he had like a shirt like this, he'd lift up and you were talking to him, you're like, it looks like you have like a neoprene shirt underneath your.
It does. It looks like I'm going boogie boarding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a rash guard.
But
It's a rash guard. That's what it is.
But I couldn't imagine. Listen, I've said it. I hate getting tattooed. I think it fucking sucks, dude. Especially as you get older, it loses its novelty. It's no longer like a fun. It used to be fun. You go get tattooed, and you'd be like, all right, cool. If I can suffer for 2.5 hours, I leave here and I got this cool new tattoo and this and that. But when you got a whole bunch of them, it's all the same. You know what I mean? You're filling a little bit of space that was filled already. You know what I mean? I couldn't, but it hurts. Like the Dickens. I hate getting tattooed. Anybody out there who's like, oh, I fall asleep, it's like you're lying to yourself. And
that's some bull.
Anybody
I
that's gotten tattooed,
get out of here, dude.
It's like shut up. You're only convincing yourself, and I don't believe you at all. Point being is that the amount of time and pain it must take. It's like it's crazy. But anyway,
You're
I
the
think
one
it
who
looks
did
cool.
it. Why are you looking at me? I got like 3 when I was 17
Oh no, I'm saying
or 18, and
to
then
black
I never
out the
did it
whole
again.
arm. That would take.
Oh yeah.
Fucking long. to
Who's
black
got
out
the
whole arm.
time?
Yeah. And then it's a solid color. It has to heal weird, blotchy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway,
If you're doing it, good for you. It does look like you're wearing a rash guard, but besides that,
yeah,
super cool.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to hit some recommendations? And then
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I recommend that you go over to the website. You buy some pole push if you have not already bought.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little sad to report. The plant I potted in my garage potter not looking so good. So I don't know. I don't know if it was like shock from being planted, but it's not looking so good. So I might have to put a new boy in there. But we'll see. Well, but I mean, that would be my recommendation. Still,
For anyone, we are at the top of the gardening arc right now.
Yes.
Things are going to start happening. Maybe this is the year where it goes well.
Yeah.
But
let me tell you. Let me give you a brief update because I've been home for a week and have not talked about it. 2 things. I've learned a couple things about tomatoes. I may have ruined a couple tomato plants. You pop suckers. They're little things that come out between the main stems. You pop those. If you're doing it on a determinate variety of tomato, it'll basically thwart it from putting out flowers. And the last thing it puts out is like one big bundle of flowers at the top. It's like the death blow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got a couple doing that. So I might not have tomatoes on some of them. A couple plants, though, have begun fruiting as of this morning. A couple melons have really taken. I've got cucumbers with 1 million flowers. Peppers looking healthier than ever. So knock on wood, fingers crossed.
Little double knock.
Looking fucking dope. So
I'll bring you. I guarantee I bring you stuff before you bring anything in. Guaranteed.
What do you mean? Oh, from your guys' garden?
I'm telling you, end of this week, I bring you guys a basket of blackberries you'd never get
they
through.
already...
We're ready to go, baby.
Ooh.
And I've been setting things for because the squirrels are the problem with that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I've made friends with them,
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
know.
Mhm. If you
and now
offer
I've
them-
got I got stuff in different spots so that they can get into.
So they don't... Has it proven to be fruitful in that they won't go fuck with the blackberries?
They're just doing something different. I just gave them something better, you know?
Because I've done many different researches of squirrels, and You can put an owl statue in your garden. By all accounts, that appears to not do anything, but that's supposed to scare them away.
Listen, I'm telling you, the squirrel that I hang out with that doesn't have one of his ears, and I watched fall from 30 feet up and do a backbreaker on the fence and then keep going. He doesn't give a shit if you put an owl out there. I could put a dinosaur out there, and he doesn't care. You know what I mean? He is so far gone, man. He's he's a psychopath. He does not care about.
Squirrels in Boulder are crazy, man. So that's sick.
He's tight though. He comes if he goes sees me, he goes back up in the tree, and then if I tap on the thing, he comes back down. Again, I haven't got him to come all the way up to me, but I think I could pet it if I wanted to.
Yeah, you should. You should try to get him accustomed to you. We're
on good terms. I put some stuff downstairs for him. He goes down there and eats his stuff and hangs out, and then he leaves the blackberries alone. And
please do bring some blackberries.
And I'm the one who did it. Abby's gonna tell you she was doing it. No. I'm the one. She keeps going, they look so great. I'm like, because I can water them every day. I go out there and I water them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that situation. End of last year, the amount of vines, because you guys all had some squash and the like, I think. Mm-hmm. No, squash doesn't vine.
It's like all blackberry.
Potatoes and shit. Those fucking vines were crazy, though. That bed is very conducive to that, so that's sick.
I think it's just in the right location. Yeah. I don't know anything about it. Like, I go out there with a hose and I just do the thing because it's like sad. It's like when I go and wash my car. Yeah, I just do it. Abby's like, you're taking too long. The money's, and I'm like, this could cost $1,200. I don't care because I'm having fun. So you know what I mean? Like, let it run.
Yeah.
We're here for me, not for the car.
I've never been a guy who enjoys going to a car wash that isn't. I'm fine with a touchless. The one you drive through, you stay in the car. But you do the thing because the thing is, here's the thing, and I'm sure that it's changed now, but you got to have coins. I'm sure that they accept cards now, but back in the day, you have to have, it only took quarters.
What year are you
I'm
referencing?
talking like college, like more or less, because I don't wash my shit now.
No, you just tap the thing and keep it cooking. I mean, this is like an old building too. You know, I mean, I'm not using anything crazy.
Do you fill it up with the foam? You put the foam over top, let it set, and then
I do every single step. I never skip a step because again, I'm there because I'm having fun. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with what the car needs or what.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, I just like doing it. It's the same thing with the garden. It's like, I don't care what's wrong. Maybe I'll never eat a blackberry. Yeah, blackberry is not my favorite fruit by any stretch. It's probably low. Now we make like a thing out of it.
She makes a jam, a compote?
Yeah, it's like a compote.
Yeah, cool.
It's good. But like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I just like going out there and it's like a task to do. It's just like it's a thing to do in the evening. What else am I supposed to do?
It is nice to go dick around and mill around. Yeah. Look at things. You look at it from one angle and then you go over to the other side. You look at it from another angle. I'm with you.
Doing that, the spray that's like mist.
Yeah,
just me misting listening to Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah.
Having a great time. I have no idea what the amount of water. I just make it look where it's like, well, I'd like that amount if I was laying there.
Yeah. Sick. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'll pop in and see him. You know, you're going to make fun of me for this. I thought about not even saying, but I'm going to say.
I don't make fun of you. I point out when you say weird things. I'm not making fun. I'm just letting people notice. Because sometimes you get a lot of things past people. I've noticed.
I do, yeah.
Where you say things, I'm like, that is so weird what he's saying, and they're like, yeah. And you're like, what do you mean, yeah? Hold on.
I think there's an air of like, well, that's just Chase. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In like many aspects. But I've got a new interest, Timothy.
My leg is so asleep from doing that.
I was thinking that I'm going to finish the sentence, then I have to pee. So we have to end the podcast soon.
Okay. Do the thing, and then you know what? Let him go. Interest. I'll wrap it up alone, which will be funny.
I have a new interest. Two things. One, the guy in the Discord linked those really cool Windchimes.
Yeah, fuck whoever that was. Because now I know that I didn't need to know that you could get expensive ones.
I would have happily went to the flower bin, the nursery that I like out by me, and gotten one of the beautiful little Windchimes there that remind me of my grandma. And now I've got these artisanal brass aged oxidized.
I went on that website, and then I went to like their Instagram and looked up who they were following to see if there was other ones. And now there's like wood versus metal versus all. And it's like, of course this was a world. I just didn't know about it. Yeah. And now I'm in it, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the research, but at some point I'm going to spend $200 to $300, I would imagine, on wind chimes that for sure that fucking meth addict of a squirrel is going to take down in some way.
Well, these are brass, dude. These are brass.
What's that going to do with that?
Well, I don't know, maybe. Speaking of which, a fucking squirrel. I'm running an experiment in the garden where I got to thinking they say don't plant sunflowers in the ground in your garden because they take over. I think the root system's crazy.
So we have
and
them
they
by
drop
our
a
house.
million seeds.
They've gotten into our yard and are growing.
Yeah,
because the seeds come out.
Exactly.
And
So people say like, don't plant sunflowers in an area of your garden that you aren't okay to have them completely take over. So I had an experiment. I was like, well, fuck, dude, let me just put one in a couple. I literally got a couple random little pots, filled them with soil, and put some fucking sunflower seeds in there. And I was just like, we're just gonna let it see. Look at this guy. Let it see what happens, right? Fucking squirrels came, bit it in half, took it onto my little Adirondack chair and was gnawing on the thing. Just demolished one of my sunflowers. It was getting to probably be 4.5, 5 feet tall.
You know what I like about squirrels? They don't respect possession.
They do not care at
Everything's
all,
theirs. And they're right. If it's outside, why do I get to claim ownership of it?
Yeah, no, for the record,
It's theirs.
I don't disagree with you. It's just like, you just ruined it. You didn't even eat it. He broke it in half and then gnawed on it and then left it. So it's like, are you happy? Because all you did was take from me. You didn't even gain. It's like when they took my 13 strawberry plants out of the fucking soil and didn't eat. There were no strawberries to be eaten. They did not eat the plants. They ripped them out and then left them where they were. Just
what? Where is this going?
my new hobby.
Oh my God. All right. Yep. Oh my God.
I have a new hobby. It's something that I've wanted to get into for a long time, but have not. And it was inspired by a buddy of ours, local, that you know.
Away from you, the way you're yelling about squirrels. Back it up. Jeez Louise. Everyone with 2 headphones in has one now. Jeez. Go ahead.
I'm interested in bonsai. I am going to get deep into bonsai.
I thought you already went down this. Why am I going to make fun of you from this? This is the thing that makes the most sense. It's indoors.
Well, it makes perfect sense. Now here, let me teach you about a thing.
There is going to be a murder here soon, I would imagine.
A what?
There's going to be a murder, a homicide of bonsai soon.
Well, I've been taking in a lot of content, reading. I have a little master bonsai gardening book that I've been reading, just here and there, taking it, and I'm trying. This is the thing. I'm very obsessive. I can feel it in my body right now as I'm talking. I'm very, very obsessive. And it gets to the point where it becomes too much for me to handle the obsession. And so I'm trying to give myself grace and take in information and learn things as it comes to me and as I understand the questions I want to ask. There is a practice within bonsai called yamadori, which is when you go out in nature and you find naturally stunted trees. Because that's all bonsai is. I used to think in college bonsai was like a special kind of seed from a tree that only grows small. No, you're just stunting the growth. It's the same as a full-size tree. You're just stunting it, making it grow small. And so you can do that with a bunch of things that grow native here in Colorado. But for instance, if you were to go up and hike up near Gross, there's a bunch of it's rocky, patchy areas where trees are going to naturally have been growing for years that are stunted. You dig those up, take them home, repot them. Once after 2-3 years, the roots taken, then you can form them into bonsai, this and that. So that's kind of where I'm focusing all my energy. I'm really interested in the yamadori, the collecting, the hunting for specific types of trees and shit that have been naturally stunted by nature, whether they grew out of a small crevice in a rock or what have you. So, but that is my new thing that I'm fully obsessed with. I've been taking a lot of content from a lot of Japanese YouTubes of dudes that go out in the mountains, dig them up, watch the process, and so
I've been watching a lot of Jason William, Chris Webber highlights.
Wait,
That's my new obsession.
Jason William with the behind the back, you know that one? Dude, the elbow pass?
Bro. I've been watching just him and Chris Webber because that's like the perfect duo.
Yeah, dude.
That's the all-time greatest duo in my opinion.
Are you saying
I'm talking in basketball or
what
otherwise.
team are you? Is this Kings?
Kings, yeah. Kings,
Sacramento.
yeah. Yep.
Are you Jason Weber?
Jason Weber. No.
Jason
Chris
Williams,
Webber.
Chris Weber.
Jason Williams, Chris Webber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
there's
also
a
Mike
lot
Bibby.
of YouTube highlights of these two, and one came up and I was like, God, this fucking kicks ass.
It does kick ass.
And then I was watching him being like, I could do this forever. I could watch this forever. And I think between the Jason Williams and Chris Webber, I love Chris Webber.
Love Chris Webber.
And my soccer number was always number 4 after the bad boy himself.
Yeah.
But because of that, between that and then the whole Pacers final thing,
bummer.
Which is total bummer because that wasn't even like that. That was the most excited I've been for basketball in so long, and for in that first quarter to be like, this isn't fun anymore.
After he hit those 3 threes, Halliburton was set up to have a fucking night.
They were cooked, dude. That team was cooked. And this thing, and like, congratulations, OKC, blah, blah, blah. I like a lot of their players. I think they play pretty nice basketball.
Yeah.
But that was not a win for them. That's the and I think even you could tell that team felt that. To be honest with you, that's what I felt like. Everything beyond that just felt like this is just going through the motions. I felt like the Pacers played hard as shit. I mean, they kept them pretty tight.
Still kept them honest, yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're a competitor at that level, you don't wish for your greatest opponent in game 7
to get
fucking injured a couple minutes in and not be able to play it out. You want to fight for it because it was a game 7 because both teams fought really hard and played incredibly hard.
It just sucked to see so bad.
It was a bummer. Yeah, I agree.
For both teams to me and sports fans in general.
And
like,
I believe it.
Dog. Even if you're into OKC, like that sucks. You don't want to win that way.
No, you don't want to win that way. And shout out OKC. Between the two, I was obviously rooting for the Pacers, but I also was down for OKC the whole time too. Like I think they got a really stellar team.
I just think Pacers played fundamental basketball that's fun to watch, and I haven't had fun watching basketball in a long time. And because of how they move, it's like, man, it's fast paced, like traditional Indiana basketball.
Yeah.
No, there is no MVP on that team. They're kind of all solid. That's the basketball I miss, where it just feels like it's a team sport.
Siakam is a fucking dog on defense, dude.
Who's that little guy? Man.
TJ McConnell.
Man,
nobody could get a fucking stadium riled up like he could, dude. Yeah,
just regular hustle basketball,
just in your fucking face every time we come in. You'd hear the announcers being like, "And OKC really needs to be on their P's and Q's here because TJ McConnell has entered the arena."
Never celebrates, never stops running.
Just
good
scrappy
basketball.
As fucking
love that shit.
Dude. Love it. So it was truly a bummer to see that happen.
What Gregory Alexander? What's his name?
What's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Yeah.
The way, I don't know if you watched the beginning when like they're introducing the team, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The entire time he sat, like as people are going out, he sits like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a very cool vibe.
Yeah, because he's the last to be announced.
Yeah. But he's in the direct spotlight the whole time. Anytime there's not someone running down the middle, it's him, and he's very unaffected. He's got a cool way about him.
He's a dog as well.
He plays low, like
he plays low and slow. They talked about it a lot in this series in particular. He's where like a lot of dudes are like running and driving to the hole. He's walking and creating space and finding an opportunity.
Kind of like Anthony Hardaway, I think is who I was thinking. Or there was another player that did that too that I was trying to think of that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I think he played for the Knicks. I can't think of who it was.
Oh, Jalen Brunson. You love Jalen Brunson.
No, I do not like him. God. He's a great stage actor. I'm sure his off-Broadway work is phenomenal. But watching him play basketball, it's just, it's like a theater kid.
I've said it's like that kid caveman that I played soccer with. Just got injured every fucking game. Could never get his shit in order. Ran fast, but that was about all he was good for because he couldn't.
I don't think did he take a shot that wasn't at the free throw line?
Jalen Brunson?
He starts falling at the other side of the court.
Yeah, dude. He's falling from the logo on. But it was a bummer for the Pacers. Shout out.
It was just a bummer. It was a bummer just like to watch it in general. It was like, this is not what I wanted. Like right off the gate, you're just like, this sucks. It was the vibe. We were so excited to watch it, and then it was just like, oh, this is not.
It was such
it's not
a
even
bummer.
That it's not fair. It's not. There's nothing not fair about it. It was just sort of unfair to basketball.
And he knew before he even hit the ground that his shit was popped. I mean, what? Who? I can't think of a Celtics player that had the exact same injury happen earlier in this series. Jason Tatum. Same exact thing. Snapped his ACL instant, and it's just like the guy in the Discord. I won't say his name in case he doesn't care, but he mentioned he had the exact same injury, tore his ACL a year and a half ago, and he goes, it doesn't necessarily hurt in that first moment, but you instantly know that something is drastically wrong because it's the sensation of, you know what I mean, your fucking ACL. So it's absolutely torch. It's a bummer. Indiana was 100% going to win that game.
I think
came out like bats out of fucking hell, dude. And that would have been sick.
Off that last game. I mean, I think they deserve to win, but I also understand that is what it is. It could happen to either. Do
you think, Timothy? Do you think that watching this series, has it sparked any? I think love for basketball.
Like I said, between that, because it was nice watching them specifically play because it's the type of basketball I like, and then like I said, watching Jason Williams and Chris Webber highlights have gotten me back into watching basketball.
Let's go.
I could follow the whole thing next time because that's the thing I always followed closest. But
this playoff series from the round one and on, every single series I watched was good. Every single game I watched was good. There were a few blowouts, but barring those, outside of those blowouts, every game was fucking competitive. Every team was scrappy. I'm so excited. I'm excited for football season. but I really, I'm kind of all in on basketball and football again, which is great because that's how I grew up. I spent most of my life watching SportsCenter twice before going to elementary school and junior high and high school and shit. So that's about it.
All right, new arrivals. Go through them really quick. Brain Dead and Oakley Factory Team.
Yeah.
Those
drop
just
us
dropped.
on
So we should have
23rd.
like 4 of those now, kind of out and about.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, I know you've got the
Full
list.
count.
Full
Full
count.
Count's live.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Really good stuff for the
First
price,
shipment.
the washes, everything going fast too. Really good. If you need any help with sizing or whatever, hit up our people. They'll help you out.
Warehouse.
Warehouse is live as of yesterday. I plugged that in the Discord right before.
I mean, as far as like
signing
buying
off.
like vintage style tees, I mean, it's like they're doing it. You know,
I
they're
love that
so
high
good.
spirits one with
Yeah,
the
that's
ghost,
the
dude.
best
I
one.
really love that tee.
Well, a lot of people were asking too. This is first shipment of both, so there's plenty more coming
more
from
coming,
each
yeah.
brand. So keep that in mind. This was kind of like core collection from each one that came early. So
Yeah.
And then water.
Water restock.
big ol' restock. New Sense.
I haven't been in since that got. What do you think about the new Sense, guys?
Didn't
Osaka
even
is the
smell 'em.
orange
Kept
one.
moving, baby. Osaka's really good. I've had that.
Yeah.
From before.
I like
What's this, Loeb?
Loeb or
No, we've had Loeb before.
before. Oh,
You sure?
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought there was one other one. We've had Loeb before.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of more hand soaps, lotions, and
Oh,
different
they updated
fragrances.
the packaging on some of those things. Anyway, there's a lot of new there. Fully stocked in the car tags, which is always the first thing to go. And we've got a ton of them. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Real quick.
get them before. They will go out again, though. So,
Have either of you guys gotten a closet tag from APFR yet?
no, I keep
Oh,
forgetting.
But
I
Drew,
keep forgetting as well. I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, I'll get one.
Drew
today.
is nonstop talking about it.
He likes
Every
it.
single day, he's like, "You need to get it."
We got Drew here today. No, he's here.
No,
tomorrow.
he got the oak moss and amber one, which
I
that's
love
been
Oak Moss
that's
and
been
Amber.
going fast.
That was my first favorite that we
Really?
did. Yeah.
My-
Blue Spruce is the best.
Blue
though.
spruce is the best for sure. That's
so
what I've
good.
been. That's what I've been spinning, so to speak, at home. Is blue spruce when I'm really just trying to fucking chill. I love that, dude.
I like the fig one a lot too. That's good.
Green
They're all
light,
good.
oak moss,
They're
and
all
amber is
good.
really
I don't
good.
really
They're
have
all
anyone
great.
that I don't like.
Yeah, they're all good. Agartha, I'll say, is one that it's very much its own thing. It's not for every occasion, but the times that I do like it, it's real nice.
You come cruising by our studio when the garage is open. It looks like the Cheech and Chong van.
yeah, bro. Hell
burning
yeah.
like 3 at a time.
yeah.
What else?
We got one icy for the spring
yeah,
summer.
newest issue of IC.
Issue
Yeah.
number 12, I believe, is called
Yeah.
Rain.
It's
and
cool.
It's
something.
good. Yeah.
And then
Really good features in it.
Hokas. We got a shit ton of Hokas
Shit ton of
yesterday.
I don't think those are
Hokas.
online yet, but they'll be online soon. Really
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
This is like a lot of those Mafate Speed 4s and all that. They're
Yeah, I
cool.
saw all of those
are
came,
always
yeah.
going fast.
Cool.
And they've got like a cool new one with like a Solomon style, I
Yeah.
forget
The
that.
boa
Speed
lacing.
Yeah,
Speed
boa
lacing,
lacing.
sure.
And there's a couple other good ones in there.
Cool.
They're like they're hot sellers of the Tier 0 stuff.
That's it.
I also imported a Gang of Capital that was picked up yesterday,
Cool.
Yep.
overnight. It's on the way. I can't.
I
remember
feel like
when it
there's
was
something
picked up.
else that's in motion. I don't know. We got stuff.
Yeah.
coming, though.
Is that
Our
completing?
legacy should be on the way too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that completing spring summer capital or is this next?
It's unclear, man.
No,
Unclear,
I
okay.
mean honestly, there's spring, summer, and fall, winter, but you would never be able to tell the difference, and they just kind of roll into the next one.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
don't even know where one begins and the next one starts.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start or where to begin.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's about it. I think
Great.
I'm gonna get a sandwich. So.
Okay. We've hit that point in the podcast, folks.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.